Welcome to this channel, which is a class on research methods by Dr. Lydia Wabugu. This is a class where we discuss everything social science research, from understanding the research discipline, research philosophy, the elements of scientific research, and the methodologies of conducting research. Feel free to ask any question regarding today's lesson on the comment section. Welcome. Welcome to today's lesson, where we shall be continuing with our discussion on elements of scientific research. In lesson 3, we started by introducing 3 elements of scientific research. We discussed concepts, constructs, and variables. In lecture 4, we discussed types of variables, and we said there are 3 main types of variables. These are independent and dependent variable, 2 confounding variables, which can either be intervening or extraneous variables, and then number 3, moderating variables. Please refer to those 2 lectures to revise on those elements. In lecture 5, we discussed classification of variables and scales of measurement. We said there are 2 main methods of classifying variables, that is experimental classification and mathematical classification. We finally discussed the 4 scales of measurement, and these are nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Today, we are going to discuss the 4th element, which is the research problem. But before we delve into discussing this element, let us first look at the learning outcomes for this lesson. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to 1. Define the term research problem. 2. Discuss at least 3 sources of a research problem. 3. Explain at least 3 characteristics of a good research problem. And 4. Identify 3 conditions that must be satisfied when stating a problem. So let us begin by looking at what is a problem. Remember, in lecture 1, we explained why we conduct research. We said research is search for knowledge. And we asked ourselves, why are we searching for knowledge? We are searching for knowledge to fill a gap which we called a research problem. So today we are going further to discuss this element called research problem. A research problem is therefore an area of concern. It is a gap that causes a discomfort. And this is a discomfort to a researcher when he or she asks the question, why? In other words, we are saying that a research problem is the why of the study. We can also define a research problem as a discrepancy or a deviation between the ideal and actual, whose solution can only be arrived through research. According to Ogula 2005, a research problem is an intellectual challenge or a question of interest which can be answered through collection, analysis, and interpretation of data. These 3 points, we need to note them. 1. A research problem is the so what of the research study. Remember, we have said it is the gap between what is or what ought to be. Therefore, it is what is taking you to the field to search for solutions. Note number 2, that the research problem we identify should be from an area of interest where one has some basic knowledge about. And lastly, remember in lecture 1, we said a problem does not refer to negative issues. We have said it is the why of the research study. So even when things are going on well and the researcher asks why, that calls for investigation. In vice versa, when things are going on badly, the researcher also asks why. And again, that calls for an investigation. And these things we are referring to are the gaps in your discipline. What are the sources of a research problem? There are various sources of research problem, and some of them are: 1, personal experiences. We said in lecture 1 that we measure empirical world. Therefore, the starting point of identifying a research problem is what we experience in the empirical world. These experiences are also from our areas of interest based on the discipline that we are in. Another source is the media. The media is a source based on the issues that are discussed quite often. So you may get a research problem from an area that has been discussed or reported in the media. Number 3, existing literature. This is from materials that have been written by others whom you share a discipline or who have written an area of interest. Number 4 is previous research studies. In any library where we have theses and research projects, the last chapter of a project or a thesis is suggestions for further research. That area may be a source that you can pick and develop your research problem. Number 5 is replication. Replication means repeating a study that has been done previously, and in most cases this study has been published, but you replicate it using different subjects and different researchers. Please note that replication does not mean duplication. Another source is existing theories and principles. In lecture 3, we defined a theory. Please refer to that lesson for a definition of a theory. However, we are looking at theories and principles as one source of research problem where you can test a theory as you conduct a research. Finally, discussion with experts in a particular field. Please remember that even as we look at these sources of a research problem, we said in lesson 1 that research is not about hearsay. It must be anchored on data. Therefore, even when we use our experiences, the media, or discussion with experts, then we must go to literature and anchor our problem on data. Now we will move to look at characteristics of a good research problem. A good research problem should be one, researchable. What does this mean? This means that it is a problem that we would be able to get data within the required time and with the resources that we have. Another characteristic is that it should have theoretical and practical significance. We conduct research so that we can get solutions to a problem. Therefore, the research that we conduct must be significant in giving us solutions to fill the gap between what is and what ought to be. Number 3, it must express a relationship between two or more variables. We discussed variables in lecture 4 and 5, so please refer to those lectures to get more on variables. It should be brief and precise to capture the reader's interest. It should be an area of interest. And finally, it should contribute to development of theories which will form basis for further research. Remember, when you conduct research, you develop theories, and you can conduct research to test theories. Now we move to statement of the problem. Someone may be asking, is there a difference between a research problem and statement of the problem? And the answer is yes. Once you gather background information about the problem, then the next area is to define the issues of concern more clearly. This is the point where the researcher describes factors that make the stated problem a critical issue to warrant the study. This is what is referred to as the statement of the problem. A good statement of the problem should contain 3 key information. 1, the statement of social need, and this means that the researcher should show that there is a social need that the study intends to address, which requires research. In this section, you describe the facts and all prevailing social conditions that have raised concerns which have led you to consider what you are investigating as a problem worth investigating. A good way of stating the statement of social need is to base the need on government or institutional data. For instance, when you read this paragraph, the investigator is anchoring the statement of need on what the government intended as they implemented economic stimulus programs. Information number 2 that should be in the statement of the problem is the statement of knowledge gap. The statement of knowledge gap shows that among the literature that the researcher has reviewed, nothing seems to provide sufficient answer to the problem being investigated. How do you identify knowledge gaps? You identify knowledge gaps from methods or measurement methods that have been used in that study. Number 2, the context of the study. Number 3, variables identified in that study. 4, conflicting findings. And 5, omitted groups. When we talk about knowledge gaps and how to identify, we are not talking about criticizing what the previous researcher has done. We are talking about identifying gaps that your study is coming in to fill. Ideally, you should identify at least 3 to 5 knowledge gaps, and after identifying the gaps, show how your study will address the gaps and its unique contribution. So please note again that knowledge gaps do not mean criticizing the study that you are reviewing. It means identifying gaps that your study is coming in to fill based on the issues that were discussed by the studies that you are reviewing. This is an example of how to state the statement of knowledge gap. So identify the study and show how your study will fill the gap that was left out by the previous studies. Then finally, you state the main research question, which we also call the researcher's intuition. In a statement of researcher's intuition, the researcher should now state the problem. After writing the gaps in knowledge, you now state the problem that your study is addressing. You may want to start this statement by the main research question that this study seeks to answer is, or therefore, the problem of this study is to. In this case, you are giving an indication of the people who are likely to benefit from the study. When you read this paragraph, you will realize that from the background, now the researcher states the statement of the problem. We have come to the end of this lesson. Today we have discussed the research problem as an element of scientific research. We have defined a research problem as a discrepancy between the ideal and the actual, whose solution can only be arrived through research. We have also discussed sources of research problems and characteristics of a good research problem. In our next lesson, we are going to discuss the following elements of scientific research: objectives, research questions, and hypotheses. Thank you for being part of this class today. I hope the lesson was helpful. Feel free to comment, to like and share this video with your friends. If you'd like to attend more lessons like today's, please subscribe to this channel. Until the next lesson, where we continue with our discussion on elements of scientific research, it is bye for now. Thank you.